Welcome, we are Team 5. We developed a statistical test app called What's That? The team is made up of 3 developers. The person you see on the left-hand side is Nikolai Prebenson. He was previously a teacher. His roles involved for this project was as a client liaison and report editor. Our second member is Cyril Nye. He has professional experience in delivering big data solutions, and his roles was as a backend developer and front-end developer. Our third and final member is Akash Bala, and he has experience creating Android apps, and his roles was as front-end developer and application tester. Here's a background on our project. Our client is Arini. She's a senior teaching fellow at the Center for Applied Statistics courses. She came to us with an ask to develop an app that can help users identify an appropriate statistical test for their data set. So the project is for the user to answer predefined questions to reach a statistical test that's suitable to their data. The app will follow a logic according to a decision tree flowchart which the client have provided. The user can also search through the app to find more information for technical statistical terms. So we've divided our user requirements against the Moscow prioritization table, as you see in front of you here. For must-haves, these core features is to allow the user to identify the appropriate statistical test and provide informational points that can explain technical terms. The app should also have an about page, record some key performance indicators to give the user a sense of progress when moving through the questions. This is the system architecture for our solution. It's made of 3 key components, that is the user, the front end, and the back end. Before I start explaining our system architecture, it is key to point out that we adopted to use the SQLite database in order to hold all our data. And what this means is that the database is stored locally within the mobile app. So the way that our solution works is that our user starts by communicating with the mobile app that constitutes our front end. It takes the input from the user in order to generate and create a query that it will send onto the SQLite database stored in the back end. The SQLite database will then spit out the relevant set of data back to the front end, which it would then ingest, manipulate, and show onto a view for the user. The user can then continue to interact with this set of information with the front end.
These are the technologies that we use for our application. So for the front end, we used Ionic to develop a hybrid mobile application. The majority of the development was done in Angular 2, a type of TypeScript, HTML, and CSS. We chose Ionic because it offers a wide selection of UI patterns. For example, it offers a menu template. As already discussed, we use SQLite as the backend for the application. This gives a shorter response time as opposed to connecting to a web server. We use Cordova plugins in conjunction with SQLite because it's cross-platform capable.
So this is the demonstration of the app. So let's have a look at the main functionality first. So if we click on test identification, this is where a user is trying to identify what test to use with their data. So what type of data is the outcome? I know that mine is numeric. Are you looking for a difference between groups, association between an outcome and several variables, or agreement? I'm not sure what that means, so I'm going to click on the I button. Then I can look at different definitions of the different words. Once I've identified that my data is agreement, I can go back and I can click on agreement. I can keep clicking through the answers, and then eventually I will have a test that I will use for my data. So then I can click on that, and then there will be 5 different pieces of information that I can look at. So first we've got definition, example, data check, data summaries, and graphical display. So then we can go back, and then if we want, we can go to the home screen. We also have the lookup functionality, and this is where if we want to either look up statistical terms, which is in the glossary, or just a list of tests where we can go straight to the information we want on the tests. So if we go glossary, then we have the list, but we can also search within that list. For example, if we wanted to look up regression, we just have it here, and then we can click on the regression, and we have a lot of information on regression. If we go back, and then we can go to tests, and we have all of the tests. If we just wanted to find out some information on the Mann-Whitney-Hughes test, we can go to it, and then we get our information. If we go back to the home screen, then we've got an about page about the Center for Applied Statistics, and then finally, we have a hyperlink to the Center of Applied Statistics courses. So we learned a huge amount over the course of this project, and we've got some our 5 main learning points on the screen here. Just to give you some concrete examples, so in terms of number 1, the value of frequent and targeted software testing, we found that targeted software testing on screens of various sizes was incredibly helpful for understanding how the app was performing more generally. And then in terms of number 5, we found that the response times on our original version, PHP and MySQL version, were very slow, and we therefore decided to migrate the entire application to a SQLite version, which really improved performance. That wraps up our video. Thank you very much for watching. We enjoyed doing the project enormously.